Couple of days back, daylight saving has stopped. That means the time difference between India and Germany now is 4.5 hours. Earlier it used to be 3.5 hours. Right behind Alexanderplatz station. So during winter time here in Germany, they have pretty short days. Around like 3 o'clock, 3:30, 4 o'clock, it's going to be like a complete dark. You have that feeling of it's 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock. It's exactly the feeling what I'm getting right now. Let me show you how dark it is. This camera is doing a good job, by the way. So I'm going to compare using my iPhone and the camera. Look at the difference, how dark it is. Yeah, my camera does a good job. It has a good aperture. Anyway guys, what's up BEATNIKERS? Welcome back to my channel once again. If you're new here, consider subscribing because I feel that my goal is to bring you the most delicious thinking and enhance your intellect to escape velocity. Let's start today's day. For some reason, if you have subscribed my channel because I give information about German education system, work related, anything regarding Germany, today's video is not about Germany. Today's video is about Iceland. Yes, I know, it was so obvious by the title. I'm going to be talking about a bit more information after my trip when I visited Iceland. Yes, I also had an opportunity to meet Education Minister of Iceland and we had a word. There's a short clip of we talking about the future, how important having a skilled labor force is. Let's start today's day. So before I dive into today's topic, feels proud to share this thing with you guys that the company what I started, J&M Education, sitting in the bedroom, and now, I mean, initially we started with Indian market, helping Indian students to come and study here in Germany. Not just students, but then we moved on to help with a lot of working class people. And we are operating in multiple nations now. I'm going to be coming out with a separate video talking about that, but this is not the video for today. This is today's video about Iceland. I just couldn't hold back. Alright, there's a lot to share with you guys. There's a lot of videos which are lined up. Yeah, just make sure that you are subscribed, and even if you don't subscribe, no problem, as long as you get the information what you want, and as long as I'm being helpful into your endeavor and contributing to your success, feel free, okay? Whether you want to subscribe or not doesn't really matter. So I'm going to Alexa Mall so that I can sit in food court. So I'm going to go in the food court and sit there and talk to you guys. Media Markt, a very famous electronics store. So Alexa Mall is pretty famous mall here in Berlin. The other mall which is quite famous is Mall of Berlin and Alexa Mall. These are the two malls where people usually go and hang out. There are other malls also, but not as big as this. Alright guys, so I'm joined here by Miss Lilia. She is the Education Minister and
Science, Culture, Sports and Education.
I'm here to learn more about Icelandic education system, and that's why I was visiting Reykjavik University. And quite impressive. What is your take on why should I come to study here in Iceland as a student?
I mean, Iceland is a great place to live in, for the first thing.
Okay.
And we have very good universities that are doing very well as regards to research and higher education. And we've been increasing expenditures on that side, on the government. And we also have a lot of ambition as regards to, you know, what we specialize in, as regards to geology, and just every subject. I think, I mean, it's a very good place to study, live, work, and yeah.
Well, definitely the quality of life is the best. Other question which I want to ask you is, since you have studied economics, masters in Columbia, and you came back and most of your time you have spent in banks, and then you were also working for IMF.
Yes.
Right, in Washington DC. My question with regards to this is, how important it is for you to have a skilled labor which will add to the economy of Iceland.
It's extremely important, and I focus on basically combining education policy with our economic policy. And the way I think about it is that we are a small open economy that is very heavily dependent on our export revenues.
Right.
But we're also a resource-based economy. We have a lot of fish, we have a lot of energy, and then tourism. And my vision basically going forward is that our export revenues are going to be based more on innovation, creativity, which is a growing industry in Iceland because we have a very skilled labor force. But I want to see kind of in the future that we have that we are more focusing on that than we are, for instance, this government making a new policy on innovation, and we have tax incentives in the creative business as regards to film, books, etc. Wow. And we do pretty well in that. So I'm very proud of how we are doing in sports and arts, and we have fantastic musicians.
Yeah.
And one of the reasons and the magic behind that is that there is very good access to sports, to music from a very early age because it's heavily subsidized.
Wow, okay. All right, thanks a lot, ma'am.
Thank you too.
Thank you. If I come here as a foreign student not from EU region, how do I get my permanent residency?
Students who come to Iceland from outside the EU, you will come here on a student visa.
Yeah.
And when you graduate from our university, you're allowed to spend 6 months in Iceland looking for employment. If you find employment during that time and decide to stay in Iceland, then once you've worked for 2 years, then you can apply for the permanent residence. So in total, you need to have been in Iceland for 4 years, but your 2-year student visa can count. It's counting into that, and then the employment for 2 years makes up your 4 years.
Alright guys, so let's talk about Iceland and their education system. I would not be really specifically talking about what is the cost of living and all that, because I've already covered that in part 1 of this video and part 2, where I did a campus tour of top university of this Iceland country, which is Reykjavik University. I think one of the important point which I want to highlight at this stage is studying abroad in general has to be very conscious decision. A lot of money is involved and a lot of time is involved. All right. If you are someone who is paying from your pocket, you know how hard it was. Or if you're relying on your parents, you know somebody has worked hard for it, and you will have to pay them back. I want you to think one of the important questions while making this decision of studying abroad is how much of an interesting person are you going to be after you graduate from abroad studies? Alright, a lot of people are doing exceptionally good after doing their bachelor's also. Think about it before you invest abroad. I'm not talking anything about Iceland or Germany or Australia, anywhere you go abroad. Talking about Iceland over other countries in Europe, I have to be honest, okay, and this is not something my opinion, this is a fact what I'm talking about. Iceland has one of the high quality standard of living in the world. It is one of the best places to live. It is one of the places where people live happily and less of a stress compared to other countries. Why? Of course, there are several reasons for it. My observation when I was in Iceland was one of the key points from a student's point of view is Iceland is literally, especially Reykjavik, has so much opportunity but less number of skilled people there. That's why you saw that I asked Minister this question, that how important the skilled workforce for you is. And she said it's extremely important. If you're sitting somewhere far in Asia, take this step. I would highly recommend you to study in Iceland because it has an opportunity and not a lot of people are looking up to it. They are happily welcoming a lot of foreigners to their country if you're talented enough. Companies there, of course you have to be talented. Nobody's going to be hiring you just because you're an average person or lower than average. You will not get hired anywhere for that matter of fact. Talking from a friend's point of view now. I also spoke with the minister that how they are welcoming foreigners now into their skilled labor workforce. There are a lot of vacancies but less number of people. I would highly suggest if you're thinking of abroad studies, especially with Europe, Iceland can be one of those countries where you can go and study. Specifically with Reykjavik University, if I have to talk, they're quite famous with their computer science and energy program. Iceland is a geothermal park in the world, everybody knows that, and why not to learn from the experts who are the creators of that. Also, the other point which concerns a lot of people is, after investing so much money, do they also have any chance to at least have some source of income? Iceland has that opportunity. Spoke to my friend on a very personal level, getting to know with what is the actual reality there. Like she said, they really get pretty close to $20 US dollars paid for every hour. Of course, yes, you can't ignore the fact that cost of living is also high, but at the same time, you also have a good amount of money coming in. In terms of language wise, absolutely everybody speaks English there. That too, American English. That was the best thing what I saw, like no language barrier. Even after completing studies, universities do help students to get placed there. They really go out of their way and help students. I saw that when I was talking to some students and as well as the management in Reykjavik universities, how much of an effort they really have to make to get a student placed in a company. And they said, we surely make sure that they get placed in one of the companies because they know the cost of living is high in that country. And that's what I really liked about. You got to work hard for everything, okay? These universities, career services, all these people on the way will be enablers for you to that one job which you're wishing for. How you grab it, of course, it's up to you. On this note, I would like to end this video. It was a quick, short one. I'm going to be talking in future more and more. If you're watching me from Iceland Ministry of Education, please invite me. I'm going to be there one more time, and I'll be happy to talk to students and do more with you guys. Alright, for now, I'll say goodbye, and yeah, see you guys next time. Bye-bye.